Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to create a encouragement card, and I think it's going to be super fun. I have a few things that we're going to play with today. I have a little basket in my craft room that when I do shopping I throw all my new stuff in, and I don't use them until I share them with you. And so this is the Simon Says Stamp wafer thin die called You've Got This. I thought it was super cute the way it was squared. And then I've had this little guy for a while. I love him. I picked up the monkey. This is the Elizabeth Crafts Parrot, and I did a video on the monkey, and I'll link it up above here and at the end of the video. That way you can check that one out. But this little guy is so cute. He creates a real fun parrot, and when I saw him I immediately thought of an idea, and so that's what we're going to bring to life today. For my background, I'm using this background stamp from Simon Says Stamp. This is the Circle Doodle background stamp. I love the swirls in here. I thought it'd be a great way to, it'd be neat to heat emboss those circles and then put different colors inside of them. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring in my MISTI. This is the new Hero Arts in My Sweet Petunia MISTI. I love the regalness of the black. Nothing wrong was wrong with my pink one, but when I first saw this, I loved it because it looked so elegant, I guess you could say. And it goes with everything in my craft room versus the pink. So if you guys are looking for a new MISTI, this is a very nice one. I'm putting some Neenah 80-pound cardstock. This is Neenah 80-pound Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. It's the same cardstock that I use for my my stamping. I put that in there, just taped it down. I removed my pad that was in the MISTI, and then I'm going to ink it up with my Versamark ink. We're going to ink it up a few times just to get a great impression. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder, and we're going to go over our entire panel here and heat emboss it with white embossing powder. We'll just spoon it over. It's kind of hard to see when it's that Versamark ink. And I chose, if you have clear embossing powder and would rather use clear, I think it would work the same since the cardstock's white. But I'm going to go ahead and melt that embossing powder. And so until every area is nice and glossy. I know everything's heat set. And then we're going to bring in some oxide inks. Originally I was going to use 3 different colors. So I have Peacock Feathers, Spice Marmalade, and I have Twisted Citron. I'm just going to do a little bit of shading with my blending brushes here, starting off with the Peacock Feathers. And we'll just pick up a little bit of that ink and then add that to our background. I need to grab my little blending brushes here. Okay, I'm going to kind of go in a triangle order. This way it kind of helps me not hit the other color, and I can evenly space it. I'll go in with my Twisted Citron, and after I did the Twisted Citron, I thought these two colors, when they over blend, they create a real pretty background. And so I thought bringing in the orange might just muddy it up, and so I thought I'll just hold off on using my Spice Marmalade. So just 2 colors, Twisted Citron and then also Peacock Feathers. And the camera light is not doing it very justice because the colors are just so pretty. Okay, once I have my background blended, I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to buff off all the ink off of my embossed area. This is going to bring the white embossed area back to life, and I just think that's so pretty. And once we have this done, I'm going to take a double stitched rectangle die and create a panel with stitch lines that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I have a cat that's running across my desk, so if you hear all that noise, that's Mr. Princeton. Okay, once I have that panel die cut, I'm going to use my fun foam and pop this up. If you have foam tape or foam squares, you could very well use that. I have an overabundance of fun foam, and my fun foam is adhesive backed, and so I'm going to be using that to pop up my panels. Just in case I'm not a whole, my foam tape was running a little bit low, and I don't want to, I'm kind of using it sparingly, especially during these times. Okay, once I have the release paper removed, since it's adhesive backed, I just have to add adhesive to one side. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down to the back of my panel, so my panel is ready to go. Okay, we're going to zoom in a bit, and then we are going to create a little parrot. We're going to bring in some colored cardstock sheets. I have 2 shades of green, and I'll list them down below. I like the Fun Stampers Journey cardstock sheets. I think this is Sweet Pear and then Lemongrass. I'm going to add my dyes here, and then I also have the orange. I think the orange is Orange Creamsicle or Orange Fizz. But just 3 colors is all we need. And my parrot's going to be two-tone. I'm going to use kind of using the front of the parrot as a guide on what dyes go where. I have this little piece and that is actually going to go on the darker green here. And then we have one more piece that's going to be white detail. So we're going to bring in some white cardstock. I'm going to create a back panel for my sentiment using the orange cardstock here. At least I think I used the orange. And I think I end up using the darker green. Yes. But we're going to bring in some white cardstock. I'm going to die cut out my sentiment. And then I'm also going to die cut out my little eyes with white cardstock too. Once everything is die cut, we can assemble. And you can see here I changed my mind from the orange to the green. What I'm going to do is tack down my sentiment to the green cardstock behind it, centering it. And then I kept all those little pieces for the inside of my sentiment. So the inside of the O and the E and actually the S too, we're going to go ahead and glue down on the green cardstock. I don't think there's no way I could pop that up with foam adhesive. So we're just going to directly adhere that to the colored cardstock. Okay, I'm going to carefully just place it, and I'm using the positive piece of the sentiment to line it up. It makes it a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and do that to all my letters so it's ready to go. And I think that looks great. I'm going to carefully lift it up, and then we're going to flip over the white of the You've Got This and then add foam adhesive behind it. Now if you wanted to save a little bit of time and just glue down the white to the green and then pop up the green, you very well could. But I like the shadows that hit underneath when you add dimension on a block sentiment like this. And so I'm going to take thin strips of foam tape and then add that behind the sentiment here, and then we're going to add that to our green panel. And then our sentiment is ready to go. You've got this. I thought this is a great encouragement for what we are going through right now. I think we all need lots of encouragement right now. I think people are starting to get a little bit stir crazy. I know right now we are homebound. We had to close our business down, which was kind of heartbreaking. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that during my cleanup. But yeah, I think we all need an encouragement card. So I think we all have got this. Okay, I thought we would bring in some of the green from the Peacock Feather ink, the greenish blue, and add some highlights to my green cardstock here. I think that the colors go really well together, and so this is just going to highlight the light and dark green cardstock sheets. Now I'll just clean off my craft mat, and then I have the legs and the beak of our parrot. I'm going to go ahead and I thought I could use the spice marmalade, but I thought the color would be too close and it wasn't dramatic enough. So I'm going to actually bring in Candied Apple Distressed Oxide ink, and we're going to add a little bit of shading to our orange cardstock with this. This way it just stands out a little bit more. Just add a little bit of shading to the feet, and then the beak here is 2 pieces, so I'm going to add a little shading to both of these pieces. The shading just adds a little bit more depth, gives it a little bit more playful look, I suppose. Okay, looks great. And then those little white pieces are for the eyes. We're not going to do nothing with those. Okay, we'll set our craft mat aside, and I'm going to bring in a piece of white scratch paper, and I thought we would build our parrot on the white scratch paper. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and first we're going to add this circle. This circle is actually the body of our parrot. We'll tack him down, and then we'll go ahead and add foam adhesive behind our little parrot wings, and then we're going to place one to the left and then one to the right. And I have, you can't see it, but I have the front of the package right next to me kind of as a guide. Now for my little parrot head, I did double it up with the foam adhesive so it's one level higher. And then we're going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind the legs of our little parrot and tuck them underneath the body of our little guy here. And you can see that's where the peacock feathers really make it stand out. Just give it a little extra something. Okay, that's the base of our guy. So now we're going to add some details. We're going to add his little tummy. We're going to add it with some foam adhesive. And if you don't like all this dimension, you could just layer them all together. I think that would work just fine. Okay, after we have the tummy added, we're going to go ahead and add our little tail feather. I'm just going to use a dot of glue for the bottom feather here. Tuck him under there. And then we have our little hairdo, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to put the top piece other than its feathers. But we're going to add the hairdo and then also just add a little glue to the eye section just so when the air hits it, it's a little more tacky when I add those white pieces. There is embossed detail on the wings and also on the head of the parrot. This way you know exactly where to line up those eyes on the head of this guy. Okay, we'll add one eye to the left here, one eye to the right, and then we're going to add our little 2 beak pieces. I added the circle first with foam adhesive, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the triangle piece right on top. And I love the way this little guy's coming to life. So sweet. Okay, now we're going to add the feet of our parrot. We're just going to add 2 little dots of glue on the very top, and then we're going to tap our parrot body over the top of that. That's the easiest way to pick them up, I think. Okay, now all we have left are the 2 eyes for the parrot. Now, of course, you don't want them white because you won't be able to see them. And they are itty bitty guys. Hindsight, I'm going to color them in with my black marker, but you could completely skip this step because I end up covering up these little eyes with googly eyes. And if you don't have googly eyes, you could use black Nuvo drops. There's an ebony color that would go perfect. Just dot them or just use your marker because there is embossed detail on those white pieces too. It's actually raised up a little bit to where you know exactly where to put the dot of the eyes. Because this was a little tedious. I mean, it worked just fine, but I think there's an easier way. Let's put it that way. Okay, so our parrot is done. He is so sweet. I just love the way he looks. We're going to flip him over, and I'm going to actually, I want him in the center of my card. Okay, and then, but I wanted to soften the background just a little bit because your eyes are going all over the place. So I thought if we soften the background with a piece of vellum, your eyes are going to go directly to that little guy. So I did use some Hero Arts vellum and cut out a circle using a circle double stitched circle die. And then we're going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind our parrot here. And then we're going to add our parrot to our vellum right in the center. And then we can add some glue behind our vellum just in the area where there's adhesive, and then we can tack that down to our background panel. And you can see the vellum does soften that background a lot. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my sentiment, and then he's going to ground my little parrot. Tuck him under there. Not too close, but just tuck our sentiment in the center. And after I got this done, I thought, you know what? This guy would be a perfect card for an action wobble. So I did pick up some of the Art Impressions mini action wobbles, and I think it would be super fun card. I did add dotted detail to my parrot. It just makes him stand out a little bit more. And before we go any further, we're going to adhere him to a side folding card base. This is an A2 side folding card base. Super cute. And here's where I thought, you know what, let's put this guy in action. We're going to carefully peel him up. And I don't think I'd been able to peel him up if he wasn't on vellum. So good thing we added the vellum. But I'm going to just remove my little foam squares. I saved one. I didn't save this one. But we're going to bring in, again, the Art Impressions Mini Action Wobbles. And then I'm never sure on which side goes where. There's a thicker weight side, and then there's the thinner side. So I tried to look on the package to see if there's directions, but there's not. But I don't think there's no right or wrong. I'm going to add the solid area to my little parrot here. We'll just flip it over. We'll just remove the release paper. And it's nice because it's separated and it releases very easy. We'll place this wobble in the center, and then I'm going to pick up the release paper off of the thinner side, just using my tool-in-one here. Lovely. And we're going to add him back to the home on the vellum. I'm going to get him straight. And I think he is the perfect action wobble guy. I think the monkey would be a cute little action wobble too. But I think this is going to make somebody's day brighter. That's for sure. Now, I was going to call this card done, and then here's where, and it's not that thick either. I think he's a 2-stamp card. But I thought we'd doctor up his little eyes with some little wobble eyes. So I'm going to go over my colored in eyes and just add a little glue, and we're going to add some wobbly eyes. And I think this is a cheery, happy card. Great for anyone. And that finishes off my card today. I did leave the cleanup in. The cleanup is after this picture here, the close-up. And then I'll just share a little bit about what's going on over here. We had to close down our business. Yes. It was very scary. We've never had to do that before. We've been open since 2007, and we opened in 2007 in our small town, grew bigger. In 2012, we decided to move to a bigger town. That's where we have staff and help, and yeah, it was pretty scary. We have staff that we were worried about, and we have we've never did anything like this, but we didn't want to put our staff at risk or the health of our family at risk, and so we decided the sales had dropped from 100% of our sales to 20%, and so we made the decision to close down work. Luckily, I have something to come home to. I love crafting, and I hope you guys have spending some time in your craft room. I know the news right now is kind of very scary and sad. I try not to listen to it, only because it's not happy. I'm more of a positive person, and hearing something negative every day can kind of freak you out a little bit. And so I'm giving my faith to the man upstairs and my trust to the man upstairs, and I'm just taking this opportunity to get some things done around the house. I have some projects that I want to do, and I'm still crafting with you guys, and that is my saving grace because I love doing this. And I hope you're able to craft too, kind of get away from what's going on out there. I hope you guys are healthy and happy and safe. I'm actually coming up with a new storage system for my stamps and my dies, my stencils, and my embossing folders. I think I have way too much, so I'm going through everything, and things that I haven't used in a long time, I'm boxing up and getting rid of, and then I'm giving myself a certain amount. And then I decided if I get something new, something old has to go out. So I have the same amount. Say I have 30 stencils. Actually, I don't think I have that many. I think I have like 20. But if I have a new stencil coming in, then one that I don't use has to go out. I think that's a system that's going to work really well for me. And then it does, that way I don't have just an over amount of things. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And then once I'm finished with that, I do plan on doing a video. I know you guys have been asking about my storage system here, and I just want everything to, I want it to be able to be a right system. I don't want to share something that's not functional for me with you guys, because I would feel bad. So that's what I am waiting on, and just wanted to get everything fine-tuned with that. But people ask me about my cleaner. It's just regular spick and span. I pick up at Walmart. I think it's the cheapest dollar cleaner. I think it's more mild when it's a dollar cleaner. So that works great for my craft desk. This is my labeler I picked up at Walmart. I think it was less than $20, maybe around $15. Very inexpensive. But what I like is the fact that my label tape is just as inexpensive, and so it's easier for you to run out to pick it up. Sometimes I do notice we had bought a really nice printer for very cheap. And when we went to go replace the ink on that cheap printer, it was like double the price of what other printer inks were. So you have to be careful. But this is a great inexpensive labeler with inexpensive label tape. So that's good to know. Everything that I used today, guys, are listed down below. I hope you are safe and healthy and getting a break away from this craziness out there by doing some crafting. Have a fabulous day. We will see you again real soon for another card project. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.